at 134, the optimal steak temperature. So that's what we're gonna cook it at. Now if you cook any meat whatsoever, you don't have a sous vide, you're missing out. Everyone's like, oh, it's like technology. It's like, it's too much for me. No, this is like the idiot's guide to cooking meat is a sous vide. You put it in a bag and you put it in water. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Couple steaks, big steak bags. Honestly, if I'm gonna sous vide it, I like the porterhouse. You got the New York strip on one side, and then you got the little bit of filet on the other. I don't really like filet too much. I think it's what old people think good steaks are. I mean, for me, I think the best steak you can get is a top sirloin cap, which is picanha, which is like the best thing you get when you go to like an all-you-can-eat, like Brazilian steakhouse. So we got a couple beautiful porterhouses here. Marbling's fine. Actually, marbling's great on that one. But these aren't aged or anything crazy because you don't need to. Basically, the water ages the steak for you. If you don't have a sealer, plastic bag works. You just use the water displacement method. I'll do one so you can see. Take the steak, throw it in the bag, and you let the water actually push the air out of the steak. And basically, you have an airtight seal right there. And that is the exact same thing as this. It's just this part of the bag can't go under the water. This whole thing can go under the water, so it won't necessarily adjust things too much. Those steaks are gonna go in for an hour. There we go, set it, forget it. All right, so for the tuna pizza, this is, you know, that's your favorite thing at appetizer-wise when you go out to like a Japanese steakhouse or something like that, and they only give you like one like this big. We're gonna make a big one, because we can. Sushi rice that's been prepared and seasoned with sushizu, which is mirin, sake, sugar. Mirin, sake, sugar. That's it. That's all that's in there. Make like a nice little crispy rice cake. And we're gonna chop up some tuna. Now, you know this is good tuna because it's not pink. It's more like a bloodish red. You want it to be this darker color, otherwise it's something that's been previously frozen or, you know, something like that. You want to get tuna that looks like this. Also, you want to get pieces without white sinew. You want all meat. This is probably from a more center cut, which is where we want to be. So you can dice this up any way that you want. I'm just going to hack this thing to bits. And as you can see, the interior of this is darker, which is good. If it was the same color all the way through, I'd have questions about how old this was. All right, so we're diced up. Next, we have very special Japanese Kewpie mayo. This is different than your regular mayonnaise. This is what I use in like my spicy tuna, spicy anything. So I don't use a ton though. Some people like overload it. This is all in Japanese. I don't even know what it is. And then you just add your regular sriracha or hot sauce. Your hot sauce is gonna be completely to your liking. If you like it really hot, add a lot. If you don't like too much, whatever. I'm just gonna use my hand to mix it all together. This is basically what spicy tuna is. It's just tuna, mayo, hot sauce, pepper in there as well. This pepper grinder is from Etsy. Came all the way from Italy. Somebody breaks in my house, this is what you get. The El Kabong. And this will hang out in the fridge until we're ready for it. All right, now onto the rice. If you go to any like omakase style sushi spot in New York City, you know, their rice is gonna be supreme, but it's also, you know, that guy spent 3 years learning just how to make rice. And this rice is just your normal short grain rice, nothing crazy, just seasoned to the way I like it. This rice doesn't really matter because we're gonna be cooking it in a pan, so anything that's special about it is already ruined. I use coconut oil, because I don't wanna be super fat. So I use coconut oil just for my frying purposes. Just get a nice little light layer on the pan. Black gloves make you look super professional. You want the rice cold, because if it's too hot, it's gonna kind of overcook. So as this rice is frying, it's actually coming back up to temperature on the interior, so you'll have a nice crispy outside and a hot inside. Just try and give it a little bit of a pie look. I'm gonna call an audible on the pan. Look at that, no harm, no foul. So I'm packing it down, but I'm not packing it like crazy tight, because it'll become one amorphous blob, and we don't want that. Now we're gonna throw this on the heat. Medium heat. Just let that go. Probably check in like 5 minutes, then we'll flip it. But while this is going, we're gonna smash up some avocados. Secret at the market, you pop off this little knob. If it's green, probably pretty good. If it's brown, don't get it. Also, the feel, if it's a little squishy, you know the deal, avocados. Roll the avocado around the knife, let the knife do the work for you. Quick twist, good chop, pop, turn. If you want to be a crazy person, you can save this and grow your own avocado. I don't know why you would. Big spoon, ice cream scoop around. There you go. So you maximize your avocado purchases as these things are getting expensive. So salt your avocados, a bit more pepper, and then smash them up like you would guacamole. That's gonna be our base layer spread underneath the tuna. We don't need to refrigerate that. Now for the potatoes. Potatoes grow in the dirt and are very dirty, so you want to give them a good washing. And cut off the edges and kind of square them. We're gonna be on a mandolin, so we want that more of a cube than anything. Excellent, okay, so then we got basically potato boats. This is a fancy little gadget I got for Christmas. All right, use this thing if you're using a mandolin, otherwise you're gonna shear your palm off. Like I say, do as I say, not as I do. We're gonna slide down, make little credit card slices of potato. You need a starch. You're not gonna do a pasta with a steak. Also, it's just, you know, I feel like that's what our forefathers were eating. I think this is, throw a cap on it, and then flip it over. And that's one side. Now, let's slide this back in. Trying not to break it as best we can. Ooh, chihuahua. There you go. Minimal damage. Now we fry the other side. And that's our crust. We're gonna cut off these edges and discard those. This is pretty easy. If you're trying to impress somebody, a date, girlfriend, wife, husband, it's like basically stacks. And what you're gonna do when you fry them is kind of slide them forward. And this is what your potato is gonna look like. It's gonna stack up on itself. Nice and crispy brown, which is different than just your regular whole potato. We can get to frying those in a little bit. We'll let those sit. This is gonna be ready momentarily. Steaks are coming along. So when you pull these out, they're gonna look like pencil erasers. You can eat it, it's ready to eat, but there's just not gonna be that char that you're looking for on a steak. So that's why we finish it in cast iron. So this guy's probably done over here. I'm gonna repeat the same thing, just with the plate on top this time. Quick flip, ooh, burning my hand. We like that side a little more than the first one. This is probably more rice than you're normally gonna have, but I like a lot of rice with my tuna pizza. We take our avocado, just get it on there. And obviously I'm not going for style points here. Make sure it's evenly dispersed. Perfect. I'll just have a little bit more of a kick, a little bit more smoke. Maybe some gochujang, which is like a spicy red pepper paste. Oh, an appetizing sound. All right, then you just top it off. Some chives, a little sweet soy. Just try and disrupt it as little as possible. And you're gonna mess it up a little bit, which is fine. There you go, ready to eat that one while the steaks are finishing. So now I got some vegetable oil frying up over here. We're gonna fry the potatoes in that. Gotta get that to about 350. But now we're gonna make the horsey sauce for the steaks. So I don't like a ton of horseradish. Some is good. So I cut it with some yogurt, just unflavored. So I basically go like a 50-50 and mix that up. Once that's mixed up, I like to hit that with a little bit more black pepper. All right, let that chill out. If you like to cook at all, this is your best friend. Spend $400 on cast iron or $40 on cast iron, it's gonna do the exact same thing. This is well seasoned. I'm kind of like in Meet the Fockers, I just wipe it down. I don't soap it ever. So it's got a lot of flavor in it, which is good. And that is how you cook steaks. Not on the grill, not in the oven. You cook it on cast iron. flag in the ground. All right, so gonna make it look like a twisted little deck of cards. Excellent. Those will probably go for about 5 minutes or until it's golden brown. And then in the meantime, we'll get those steaks going. Give it a second, it will go. There you go. Excellent. As you can see, this kind of looks like a pencil eraser. It's all cooked, completely cooked all the way through. But we want these to be dry because we want to get a crust on this. The best way to get crust is with a dry steak. Just check on these guys. Excellent, so they're toasting up nicely. I like a little bit of olive oil and butter. 50-50 mix. But Kerrygold is good Irish butter, grass-fed. It's the best. You know, you only live once, you may as well have the best butter. All right, so you can see this guy comes out nice and golden brown. Beautiful. Throw in 2 more. And remember, kids, when you're doing this at home, this is hot oil, so be careful. You want to throw the steak in when the pan starts to smoke. Sometimes you'll smoke out the entire house. Now, I do not salt the meat or pepper it or season it in any way before I put it into a pan, because if you pepper your steak before you put it in, the pepper will burn. That sucks. Salting you can do, but I save the salt for after. So we're going to go down, laying the steak away from ourselves so we don't splash ourselves with any sort of heat. There you go. We'll let that go about 30 to 45 seconds on each side. Woo! All right, let's take it over here. This is just for presentation and for crust. Like I said, the steak's completely done, so you don't want to let it sit there for like 3 minutes because you're going to overcook the interior of the steak. And that's what we're looking for. Nice char. Let that sit. Spice. Doesn't suck. A little extra virgin olive oil right there. Everybody's favorite. There you go. Look at that juice. $20 steak eats like an $80 steak. All right, guys, well, thanks for coming over today and watching us cook some food. We got some really awesome stuff in the hopper for you guys. We're going to be at some different houses, some different kitchens, some different restaurants, a lot of places I think you guys are going to like a lot. We got some really interesting guests. Joining us. A couple faces that you've seen a lot of, some faces you haven't seen that much of, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy yourself. So make sure to check in the next couple weeks, and we'll have some new episodes for you.